Chris Hedges, the renowned author, political activist, is running for Congress. He's running in New Jersey's 12th Congressional District. That seat is currently held by, Bonnie Watson? Yeah, Bonnie Watson Coleman, a Democrat. So I believe this was basically just announced earlier today. He's running as a Green Party candidate. Of course, knowing Chris Hedges, he wouldn't be running either as a Democrat or a Republican. It's pretty awesome, honestly. This is a quote from him. "We must step outside the system to pit power against power," Hedges said. "This will not be easy. It will not happen quickly or in one election cycle. It is a process, but one especially given the ecocide and corporate serfdom that confronts us, we must embrace as a moral imperative. Voting is a small part of this process, but it sends an important signal to the ruling elites that their time is up or soon to be up. We must stop fearing them. They must stop fearing us." Donald Trump, along with the corporate oligarchs, nativists, conspiracy theorists, Christian fascists, and racists who support him, is the symptom, not the disease, the product of our failed democracy, Hedges went on. Demagogues are always vomited up in societies beset with political and economic decay. I witnessed this in the former Yugoslavia. They manipulate illegitimate rage among the betrayed working class and the working poor to set neighbor against neighbor. Trump supporters are not, however, our enemies. Our enemy is the tiny cabal of corporate oligarchs that have seized control of the two ruling parties, the three branches of our government, the media, academia, our health services, and the economy. They have usurped our rights to exclusively serve corporate profit. The consent of the government has become a cruel joke. The politicians and leaders of the two ruling parties are selected and anointed by our corporate masters. They are corporate puppets. Without corporate money and support, they would not be in power. They do not work for us, and they know it. This is especially true in New Jersey, which has one of the most corrupt Democratic Party machines in the nation. And then this article, I'll leave it in the link below, just goes into a little bit of his bio. He's the author of 12 books, including War is a Force That Gives Us Meaning, Empire of Illusion, The End of Literacy, and the Triumph of Spectacle, American Fascists, The Right Wing, and the War in America. Let's see. He was a speechwriter for Ralph Nader, took part in Occupy Wall Street, New York City, as well as, the Standing Rock protests. He's the dude is just legit. I looked a little bit at Bonnie Watson Coleman. Again, she's the incumbent Democrat that he would be running against, and whoever the Republicans, vomit up to also try to unseat Bonnie Watson Coleman. She seems decent enough, but again, you don't hear any of these Democrats in the House willing to honestly critique and call out Democratic leadership. Obviously Hedges would be willing to do that. He wouldn't be beholden to people like Nancy Pelosi or Schumer. He would be able to call them out by name to actually force some action. Something like, people like Bonnie Watson Coleman are either not willing or unable to do. Quote, "Real political change will only come through sustained acts of mass civil disobedience," Hedges said. "We must stand with those carrying out rent strikes and the frontline workers whose health and safety are being sacrificed by the corporations such as Amazon, which paid no federal taxes last year and is owned by the richest man in the world. Political power must be an organic expression of these movements. That expression will never come from the Democrats or the Republican parties. The mantra of the least worst is a ruse used to intimidate us. The oligarchs, especially those that fund the Democratic Party, made it very clear in a series of public statements that should Bernie Sanders become the party nominee, they would vote for Trump. They prefer Biden over Trump, who is an inept and embarrassment to the empire, just as they preferred Hillary Clinton. But they know that Trump and Biden will slavishly serve corporate power." And then it goes on to say, he's a resident of Princeton, New Jersey, spent 2 decades as a foreign correspondent. covered the armed conflicts in El Salvador, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Gaza, Yemen, Algeria, the Punjab in India, Sudan, and during the first Gulf War. He also, in addition to speaking English, speaks Spanish, French, and Arabic. I mean, it's like, I don't know what you could really criticize about his record or his background or his political positions. You know, he's uncorruptible. He's running by the Green Party. He's not going to be bought and paid for by the Democratic leadership. He's not going to be beholden to them to get certain committee appointments. So again, I highly recommend, if you live in New Jersey's 12th Congressional District, sign the petition to get him on the ballot. If he's able to, donate to his campaign, volunteer in whatever capacity is available. Because, I mean, these are the type of people that we need in power. We don't need so-called progressives who get elected talking about these lofty ideals, but then when they do, totally abdicate any responsibility to the working class and just step in line with Democratic Party leadership, people like Pelosi, people like Schumer, because they don't want to rock the boat. But we need that. Obviously, we are in times of crisis. He points out, we're experiencing ecocide. Our ecosystem, our world, our natural systems are being destroyed for profit. I mean, the dude is just, he's legit. He's legit. And he points out it's not Trump is a symptom of the problem, the product of our failed democracy. That's, awesome. Trump supporters are our enemy. Our enemy is the tiny cabal of corporate elites. That's perfect. The politicians and leaders of the two ruling parties are selected and anointed by our corporate masters. They are corporate puppets. Again, he would just be an amazing member of Congress, and like he points out, voting is only a small part of that process. What we really need is mass civil disobedience on a obviously massive, huge level to force the levers of power within our government to make these very much needed necessary changes at this time. But that's honestly some good news with all this just crazy shit that's going on in the world. It's exciting to see that Hedges is running for New Jersey's 12th Congressional District, again to unseat Bonnie Watson Coleman, who seems decent enough. She does support, Medicare for all, or at least, she says she does. I believe she's a co-sponsor of the bill. I saw a video on her congressional website. She supports the Green New Deal. But again, we need people outside of the Republican Party, people outside the Democratic Party who are willing to call out the corporate duopoly of those ruling parties. And I haven't seen any Democrats willing to call out leadership by name for supporting these horrible stimulus packages, not going far enough, not supporting UBI, not supporting rent and mortgage cancellations, not supporting Medicare for all. Hedges obviously would be willing to do that. He's not going to sell out to get committee appointments. He really lives and breathes this stuff. He also, it's really cool, he teaches classes, in prisons in New Jersey. Does it say? Which one? He has also taught in the college degree program offered by Rutgers University to incarcerated men and women through the New Jersey NJ STEP since 2013. This is really cool also. In 2018, the play Caged, written by his incarcerated students, was produced at the Passage Theater in Trenton. Oh man, this is the type of uncorruptible politicians that we need, who are actually going to stand up and really fight for the needs of the working people, both here in the United States as well as dismantling our empire that's destroying the world and destroying the lives of, millions of people overseas in all these countries that we're at war with or bombing or, supporting the, Saudi Arabia and their genocide, in Yemen. He's willing to call out the military-industrial complex. He's willing to, again, call out, our just bloated, just disgusting empire when we don't have universal health care here at home. We don't have tuition-free college. We don't have a Green New Deal. So he would just be an amazing addition to Congress. And if he was to be elected, I think he would probably be the most honestly effective member in Congress, because again, he's willing to call it the Democratic leadership. Democrats have a majority in the House, not getting shit done. They're not getting necessary legislation done to meet the needs of the people during this crisis. He would be willing to call them out by name. Bonnie Watson Coleman, even if she supports, Medicare for all and the Green New Deal, she's not willing to do that. Hedges would be able to. He's willing to call out empire. He's willing to dismantle our bloated military budget. So again, if you live in New Jersey's 12th Congressional District, the article, there's a link for the petition to sign to get him on the ballot. I implore you to sign it, even if you don't necessarily would vote for him. Just getting him on the ballot, I think, would be amazing. Because again, we need these uncorruptible people who aren't bought and paid for by the Democratic leadership, by the corrupt Democratic Party machine. As he points out, the New Jersey Democratic Party is one of the more corrupt Democratic machines in the United States. So he's, up for a real fight. He would just be, again, an amazing member of Congress. Like the video if you like the damn video. If not, dislike it. That's cool too. Subscribe for more content. Share your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Peace. Much love.